everyone, in this video we are going to do some mixed media backgrounds using some of the supplies that I'll be showing you right now. I'm using different papers like this vellum, then some watercolor paper and some other colored papers which are used mostly for dry pastels or other types of pastels. I did not end up using all of the supplies that I'm showing here, like this jelly plate and that roller. But yeah, most of the supplies, like those stencils that you can see there, and different types of paints, mostly acrylics, those I did end up using. I should really be better at cleaning my stencils, but yeah, most of the times I'm lazy because those acrylic paints, they really get dried very quickly. um, just some time back I also showed you the ink bottles. I did not use those in this video, but yeah, those are also great supplies to use. Here I'm just taking two different paints. I did not really mix them as such. You'll see how I use these paints, and I'm just rubbing the extra gesso on that palette knife on the paper so that it gives some texture and I don't waste that gesso. These foam brushes gave me a really good type of texture, and it was really quick to make these marks. So I think these are my next favorite. I don't know why I never used them before. Really, these have been in my stash since more than a year. So if you have them in your stash as well, I would highly recommend using them to make different kinds of marks. But yeah, you should always remember to wash them as soon as possible after each and every use. Like once you dip them in the paint, any kind of paint, and after that round is done, go and wash them thoroughly. Otherwise, they will get damaged. These are not really expensive, but I would still recommend you to clean them as soon as possible. Now you can say this is the initial stage or the first stage or the first layer on these papers. I did use stencils and a contrasting color on each of these papers except for two papers, I guess. So you'll see me coming back to these papers again towards the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. The next colored papers that you'll be seeing, these were from the same pack, except for the last two black ones. So these were from the same pack, and they are mainly for using dry pastels, for sketching and different kinds of painting. So I'm not a pastel artist as such who would sketch, but I really love the colors of these and the texture was nice. That is why I bought this pack for mixed media. You can use it also for crafting. This particular lime green color, which almost looks yellow on this black paper, it had a distinct smell, kind of a strong smell, which I did not like. But just because the color was nice, I ended up using it over and over again for this project. The black papers did not end up looking the way I wanted them to, so I did not make any more marks on these later on. But yeah, I will not throw them. I will definitely use them after using some other contrasting colors on these papers. The reason why I left the background white and then went in with the yellow color in between those spaces is because if I had already painted the background yellow, and then after if I would have used this pink and violet color on top of that yellow color, it may not have given the exact same color. It would have mixed, slightly mixed, and then reflected the mixture of color, is what I feel. So that is why I left those white spaces, so that I do have an option of leaving them white or covering them with a different color. Because I don't like to waste all the paint, I always try to utilize most of the paint that is there on the stencil by turning the stencil backwards, and then just tap it with some rough cloth or something else like a tissue paper, so that you get that subtle texture of the paint and you don't waste that paint as well. Here I'm just showing you that the foam brush had lost its shape a little bit, but it goes back to its original shape soon. And it is not a very strong brush, it is not a very big brush that I'm using right now. So that does happen, but it goes back to its original shape. I tried using a paintbrush for this particular stencil and the texture, but it did not really work well, so I went back to the same foam brush. So these are all the papers that I ended up working on. I really enjoyed this process and I hope you enjoyed it too and got some ideas. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. Bye.